Hello there and welcome to this training session. I will be your host today, so before we start, let me tell you a bit about myself. I believe that my purpose is to be an inspirational teacher to a vast number of people, increasing their level of awareness for them to grow towards a different way of thinking, speaking, and doing. That is my passion. Now, I started out as a social worker many years ago, and after that qualified in a few other areas as well. In 1994, I started Casual Day, Loslit Dag, in South Africa. I owned the trademarks and ran the project successfully for 18 years. I also initiated National Tacky Tax Day, very successful national fundraising project which was taken over by Epilepsy South Africa and SAVF in 2016. I've been doing public speaking and training for probably the last 20 years. And here I wear two hats. On the one side, I'm very involved in empowering people working in the non-profit sector, where I specialize in fundraising and marketing training, mostly through my NPO Fundraising Forum. Over the years, I have worked with and trained at hundreds of organizations, both big and small, and it was a real joy for me to be involved with each and every one of them. Now, on the other side, I am incredibly passionate about personal development, and here I also work in the corporate sector with various training programs, public speaking, and a lot of coaching. I am a qualified neuro coach, which adds to me fulfilling my purpose, increasing awareness for people to grow towards a different way of living. Back home, I am just a plain Jane. Being on my motorbike makes me happy. I love to travel, and I do not think twice about going to a new destination or simply exploring a different part of the world. I am married, I have a gorgeous son, and I speak cat fluently. I firmly believe that you will be happy if you have a cat on your lap. I'm also a radio presenter, and I've been involved with various radio stations over many years. You can find me on Facebook at Annelies de Jager or at my website, which is anneliesdejager.com. My online training academy is at anneliesdejager.training, where you will find many programs in both the personal development field as well as the non-profit training area. Lastly, I want to invite you to become part of my personal development community. Every Friday, I distribute via WhatsApp a 1-minute audio or video clip. The Afrikaans version is called Pitkos vir die Pad, and the English version is known as Coffee for Your Soul. If you would like to receive this 1-minute gift from me every Friday, then please send a WhatsApp to the number that you see on the screen. I need your name, your email address, and the name of your organization or the company where you work, just so that I can add you to the correct personal development group. It would be an honor for me to add value to you in this way. Now, you enrolled today because on some level you felt that you needed it. Well done for showing up and for actually being here. I now want to challenge you to put your phone on non-disturb mode. Close your email program, not to be disturbed by incoming mails. Close the door. Minimize all distractions around you. To get the most value from this session, I need you to be 100% present while we are spending time together. I promise you that your world and all the urgencies will still be there when I am finished. Okay, that's enough about me. Let's get going. So hello there and welcome to the information session about the NPO Fundraising Forum. I am delighted that you have joined me today, and I promise to answer all your questions and give you lots of information in the next hour. Now, I'm also promised to give you a special gift just for attending this information webinar. So make sure to stay on right until the end. If you are watching this information session live, then please start chatting away. I'm not going to look at the chat box while we're busy, but I do have someone that monitors the chat box and that will be able to answer all your questions, because I want to focus just on the presentation that I have prepared for you today. So let's jump right in by saying, let me just start this by saying that most NGOs or most people become involved in the NGO world with such good intentions, with such hope in their hearts, with such stars in their eyes, that because they have a NPO number and a very worthy cause, everyone would just want to give and donate to this organization. But those of you who are involved in charity work for quite some time will know that that is not quite the case. There is a point where you start feeling so anxious because it's like, well, my family don't give anymore, my friends have stopped giving, so I need more money than just the money that my friends and family can give. How do I sustain this organization financially? And that's where you realize that being involved with a nonprofit is more than just that fuzzy feeling of, oh, I'm going to help the animals, I'm going to save the children, I'm going to render service to older people. It's much more than that. That's when you realize that the only way for an NGO to survive in the long term is to be financially stable. And that means to start raising funds. It's like, oh my goodness, and I've had so many people saying to me, well, I don't want to do the fundraising, I just want to, last week again, I had a lady that says, I just want to save the babies. I've got to do this, I've got to make sure this is right and, get them and help them and get them in foster care and attend to all the legal things. I don't have time for the fundraising. Somebody must just come and do it. Well, that is sadly not how it works. And this applies to whether you are a church or a organization in the field of animal care or working with people or a school. It's exactly the same. And that's the point where you realize that, well, I have to change the way that I think about how to run this organization in the long term in order for it to survive. That's where you realize, well, things aren't just going to happen because I'm so passionate, because I want to devote my life to this cause. Doesn't mean somebody else is going to do it. Well, people might want to do it, but there is a process and a system to be followed before people will support your cause, no matter how worthy the cause is. And that's where you realize, oh my goodness, I need to learn new skills. I need to implement things differently. I need to change the way I work. I need to change the structure in my organization, because being involved in a welfare organization is not only that beautiful feeling of, wow, I've changed the world, I've made a difference out there. It's not just that. I mean, sometimes I think there are people that running NGOs that should rather be volunteers, where they can just be that person that help and save and spend time with the cause. Especially being in the leadership of an NGO means that you've got to put your business hat on. I always say that you cannot be charity to do charity. If you want to do charity, you need to do it as a business. You can't do charity by being a charity. Okay, so you must have heard about the story about the frog in the kettle. I have on the screen for you a frog in a pot, but actually the story is about a frog in a kettle. And it goes like this, to say that if you put a frog in a kettle, or in this case a pot, and the water is cold, the frog will live very happy there until the water starts to slowly heating up, and by the time the frog realizes, wow, this is not, I'm not comfortable anymore, it's too late to jump out, he's already boiled, okay, because he so gradually got used to the temperature of the water increasing. But if you first boil the water and you then throw the frog in, then it will jump out immediately because it will realize, oh my goodness, oh, this doesn't work for me. So it's kind of the same with fundraising. When people get used to not having money in the charity sector, that it becomes a way of thinking, and that's why I said in the previous slide that we need to change the way we think. But if you are involved in charity work especially for a long time, it's like the frog in the kettle. You become so used to not having that it becomes your norm. Well, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, after working with hundreds of welfare organizations for about 30 years, I can tell you this doesn't have to be the case. There are welfare organizations out there that thrive, that can expand their services, that render an accountable service, that has got money to pay their salaries. And if they can do it, then so can you. They live under the same economic circumstances that what you do. The thing is just, what do they do differently? So I'm going to put a few comments on the screen, and I'm going to see if you can maybe identify with that. The first one is to say, the need is so big, and we just don't have the resources to attend to it. Do you feel like that? Can you say amen to that sentence? If you can, just let me know in the chat box. The second one is to say, you know what? We are constantly begging for money. I am sick and tired of constantly begging for money. I just don't want to do it anymore. Maybe you feel we are often unable to pay salaries. We don't have money for the administration costs. And we know that the administration cost is very, very real reality in any organization, as it is in a business, by the way. Maybe you feel that I am concerned because we might have to close down if we don't get money for our organization. Maybe you feel that the lack of money limits you to render only the basic of services. I remember many years ago, I had a conversation with a lady who said it makes her so sad. And she was at a children's home, and she said she feels so sad because they don't have enough money to fully look after the children in their children's home. They've got enough money to feed them, to get them the necessary clothes, to get them school equipment, and to, get them into school and house them. But they don't have money for therapy. They can look, she said, we can look after their bodies, but we cannot look after their spirit. And that's what they really need. They need therapy to address the trauma that they come from. Do you maybe also feel that you've got money, but only money for like the limited resources? And lastly, maybe you feel, well, nobody wants to do fundraising. I'm at this webinar because I think, maybe I must do it, but I don't know how. And I also don't really list for it. But, the rest of the team, nobody wants to hear about fundraising. Does that ring true to your situation in your organization? Let me know. Which one of those 6 applies to you? Maybe all of them, maybe number 1 or number 4. How do you feel about those things? Does it create some pain in you? Is this your reality? You are at the right place, because this is where I want to challenge you to change it. Now just think for a minute that you will be able to say, we have enough money to run our organization in a sustainable way. We have systems through which we receive a monthly income guaranteed. Oh my goodness, would that not be wonderful? Would it not be great to be able to say to us this morning, we receive unallocated money to spend where it is most needed? You see, a lot of donors give either goods or money, but they give it very specifically. They want to buy a TV, they want to buy food, they want to buy Christmas gifts for the children. And they're not interested in paying salaries. They're not interested in sponsoring or donating towards admin costs. That's why for every NGO, it's very important to get a certain amount of unallocated money so that you can spend it where you know this is most needed. Would you not love to be able to say, we will celebrate our 50th anniversary and the difference that we've made in this organization for 50 years? Would it not be great to say we have enough resources to make a long-term significant difference? And you know what? Everyone in our team is skilled. Everyone accepts co-responsibility for the fundraising needs in our organization. Would it not be great to be able to say that? Would you love to do that? Well, let me show you this slide. This is what I call the 4 pillars in any NGO. And this is also the basis of my NPO empowerment program. Now, the first pillar is people. As you can see, the second one is technology, marketing, and then fundraising. Looking at these pillars, which one would you say is the most important one? People, technology, marketing, or fundraising? Let me know in the chat box. Let me see what you say. A lot of people normally say, well, fundraising, of course, is the most important one of the pillars. And to some extent, that's true. But I want to change that view this morning by saying to you that fundraising is the end result of powerful people, terrific technology, and magic marketing. If you have those 3 pillars in place, fundraising will be almost automatically. Do you have powerful people in your organization that can make things happen? Are you using technology to your advantage? There's a lot of NGOs, I would say the majority of NGOs, doesn't understand technology, doesn't use technology. Still want to put banking details on a website, if they have a website, instead of doing online fundraising. Do you use marketing to promote your organization? Well, if you have problems with your fundraising today, then I want to say, and I presume you do, otherwise you wouldn't be here today, then ask yourself, do we have powerful people? Are we using technology to the best of our advantage? And what does our marketing strategy look like? If you can answer those questions, there's a whole series or a whole program in the NPO Fundraising Forum where I go through each one of these and I let you do a fundraising audit in order for you to determine where's the gaps and why you are battling financially. But a lot of people say, well, you know what? I don't have the time to do fundraising. I'm already so swamped with all my other responsibilities. I don't have the time. But raising funds is the most important thing in any wealthy organization. Because without funds, you can do nothing. And maybe you don't have time because raising money is not high enough on your priority list. I mean, we could talk about that one for a long time. Why is it not highest enough on your priority list? Do you not like it? Do you not know how to do it? Would you rather prefer to spend time on the ground with the people or animals that you serve? Why is it that you always feel, I don't have time for fundraising? Do you really realize the value and the importance of fundraising in your organization? I love this quote of Tim Ferriss that says, a lack of time is actually a lack of priorities. It's quite a big sentence to say, but just be honest with yourself. A lack of time is a lack of priorities. I want to continue by saying that the biggest lesson that I have learned in my business, and I want to give it to you today, is to say that this sentence that says, I need to work more on my organization instead of in my organization. Do you understand the difference?
You see, a lot of times we are so on the ground, rushing around like a headless chicken, working in the organization, doing all the little bits and pieces, that we never work on the organization. We never look at the big organization and sit back, put our thinking cap on, and put a strategy out there for the organization to survive. Do you work in your organization, or do you work on your organization? Just think about that question for a minute. Sometimes people say, well, I don't want to raise funds because I don't like begging. Well, here's the good news today. Fundraising is not begging. Fundraising is not begging. I've raised, I don't know, probably close to 300 million rand over a very long career of being a fundraiser. And never ever have I felt that I was begging. No, fundraising is not begging. Fundraising is building relationships through a system that you put in place. Building relationships through your electronic newsletters, through your charity shop, through your databases, through the events that you do, through your online fundraising. Building relationships and then putting those systems in place where people can just click, they can donate, they can SMS, they can buy something from you. It's not difficult, let me tell you. Most people say, well, I want to make a difference. I really want to make a difference. I want to change the world in some way. Well, you know what? Holding that little girl might for a minute make a difference in her life. But you know what will make a long-term, significant difference in that girl's life? Is when you become a fundraiser and you raise funds to break the circle of poverty in that girl's life. That is what will really make a difference. Holding her will only make a difference for a minute or two, but raising funds for her cause, that will make a significant difference. So often people contact me and they say, I just need a fundraiser. I know nothing about fundraising. I don't have the time to do it. I don't want to do it. Just don't you have somebody that I can just appoint and they must just raise the funds? And then they still say, well, I will pay them a commission. Let them just bring me the millions. Wouldn't we all like that? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you today, you cannot outsource the survival of your organization. Even if you do appoint a fundraiser, which I'm not saying is wrong, in fact, I think you should, I believe that everyone in the organization must have the basic knowledge about fundraising, because fundraising is a team effort. Even if there is a full-time fundraiser, everyone in the organization must accept co-responsibility for raising funds in this organization. So often people are negative about fundraisers, and it's because they've had a bad experience. They appoint this person, the person is like, yes, I can do it, yes, I can raise millions, because that person also comes in thinking, my goodness, they've got an NPO number, they've got a worthy cause, how difficult can it be? But then that person doesn't deliver on his or her promises. And then the organization and the board members like, fundraisers are crooks and we're never going to appoint a fundraiser again because we've paid this person a salary and they didn't bring in the money. Why did that fundraiser not work? Why did the whole system not work? Is it not partly because the person that is managing the organization, that the fundraiser was reporting to, well, that person didn't know anything about fundraising either. The board members who appointed this fundraiser, they know nothing about fundraising. Now, if they know nothing about fundraising, how would they appoint one? How would they know to ask the right questions? How would they know to look out for the right things? You see, even board members just want to say, let me just get a fundraiser. Let's just let this pain go away and hope this person will take a magic wand and wave it and just bring us the millions. Ladies and gentlemen, appoint a fundraiser. Please do. But that does not get you off the hook to also know the basic principles of how fundraising works. What you see in front of you now is I'm going to call it a graph. Well, it's not really a graph. It's a picture of how I believe fundraising works. This is the picture that I use in the program 5 Building Blocks for Successful Fundraising. Now, fundraising is not only one thing. I often say when I do the training, and I think it's in one of the courses as well, what is the most important ingredient when you want to bake a cake? Is it the flour? Is it the cocoa? Is it the chocolate? Is it the icing? Is it the oven? Is it the recipe? Is it the eggs? What's the most important thing in a cake? And what I normally said is, you can't single out one item. It's the combination of things that you use that will result in giving you a beautiful cake. Well, the same goes for fundraising. It's the combination of things. So you can't, having only a website is not going to do anything. And this picture that you see on the screen goes together with another picture that I didn't include in the slide, which is your marketing picture. So there's two pictures, your fundraising picture, your marketing picture, and having all the elements in those two pictures, that will give you a balanced marketing and fundraising strategy. Now, I always settle, you can't single out one ingredient when baking a cake, but recently I realized that you actually can. You know what's the most important thing when baking a cake? The person who bakes it. Because if you have a skilled chef, they can have the bare minimums ingredients, and they will still be able to come up with an excellent end result. But if you have somebody that doesn't really know how baking a cake works, you can give them all the ingredients in the kitchen and they're still not going to be able to create a masterpiece. That's the same with fundraising. The most important ingredient in your fundraising strategy is the person who's going to put that strategy together. Now, let's talk for a minute about marketing, because so often organizations say, why is marketing so important? Because, we're not a business. Well, first of all, you need to think like a business, so it must be important. But marketing is important in an NGO like a marriage. And I've put two rings there because they really go together and you can't separate them. The reason for that is because marketing, your whole marketing strategy shows the world why they should support you, while your fundraising strategy tells them how to support you. Now, if you have not convinced people why they should support you, you can give them all the links to click on in how to give the donation. They still wouldn't do it. You first need to build a relationship by telling them why they should support you. And then the magic will happen. You can't separate the two. And that's why the NPO Fundraising Forum focus on both marketing as well as fundraising methods. Now, this whole NPO Fundraising Forum that I've been talking about today is hosted in my online training academy. You can see on the screen a screenshot of the front page of that academy, and you can find the online training academy at anneliesdejager.training. anneliesdejager.training. Now, there's a lot of programs on there, one of which is the NPO Fundraising Forum. But there's a lot more. I'll show you a few screenshots. There's a lot more programs on both the personal development side as well as the fundraising and marketing side. But the main thing that we are talking about today is the Fundraising Forum. So let me tell you what it is. The Fundraising Forum is a series of 25 training sessions which you will receive over the course of 12 months. Every 2 weeks, a new training course is released. The training courses are all pre-recorded. It's uploaded, as you've seen, on my online training academy. And I will send you an email every 2 weeks with the link to click on your new training program. You can then, at any time that suits you, whether it be Sunday morning, 8 o'clock lying in bed, or Friday night when there's nothing to watch on TV, or whatever, during working hours or during not working hours, you can watch the videos in that specific training program. Now, the training programs are between 1 hour and 2 hours. It's never more than 2 hours, and I don't think there's any of them that's less than 1 hour. Also, there are always a presentation that you can download after watching the videos. Just as my presentation today. Remember, you can download this. If you are watching this information session live, you will see, just have a look right at the top of the chat box. You will see there's a button that says, or a tab that says files. So click on that file tab and you will be able to download this presentation right now. If not, if you are watching the replay video, then I will mail you this presentation after this event. Now, just as with this one, you can always download the presentations that I use as part of the NPO Fundraising Forum. Also, you can watch the videos over and over. Maybe there's a program, or there is a program that's released about online fundraising, and you watch it and you think, wow, this is great, but we can't really attend to that right now. We'll be able to look at it in 3 months. Then in 3 months, you want to go back to those videos. You want to see, well, what was this again? And how did she tell this? And where's this link again? You can go and watch those videos again and again. You have access to the program for 12 months. And every 2 weeks, a new video session is released. So 25 sessions over the course of a year. Let me tell you what some of my students had to say after I did a training on online fundraising. I recently did an online training session, and I just loved meeting all these people. This was an in-person training. By the way, I also do a lot of in-person training, not only online. So if you would like me to come and do a training course at your organization, maybe want to train your board members, want to train your volunteers or your staff, then you are most welcome to just connect with me, and I would, and we can take it from there. So let's have a look what these people had to say after learning more about online fundraising.
Hi, I'm Trish.
Hi, I'm Annette van Ekek from Apricot Tree Trust.
I've just completed Annalisa's training forum. Today I learned that I'm the reason why there's a lack of funds, but I've now know all about the online fundraising, about the systems that I've got to put in place, the gaps that exist, and what I've got to do when I get back to change it.
I learned today how to raise money in the way of thinking out of the box and building relationships.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Molly Malete from the Academy of International Leadership Empowerment. I've attended the fundraising workshop today. I'm telling you, this was mind-blowing. I know where to start. I'm going to fundraise, and I am going to change my organization. I've been stagnant for a long time, but no more. And from today, money is coming into my organization. Thank you so much, Annalise. You have been a real blessing to me. Thank you.
Now you can see there that I have already on the online training platform got just over 850 students. Not all of them are members of the NPO Fundraising Forum. They enroll in different programs, but that will just show you that there's value. So whether you join the fundraising forum or not, make sure to visit the online training academy and see what is there for you to empower yourself. I'm sure by now you're like, oh my goodness, Annalise, what does it cost? Tell me, what does it cost? Relax, I will tell you what it costs. But first of all, I want to tell you what the topics are that we are going to cover in those 25 sessions that I talked about. So the first session is about money. How do you think about money? That really is the basic of it all. Because fundraising is about money. Am I right? Of course. Fundraising is about money. So money is a very important topic that we need to discuss. Is there still money available? And our second session is, well, what is fundraising? How does it work? What's the crux of this whole thing? For me, that is the foundation of all the other training programs that comes after that. And I want to say at this point that I think one of the reasons why this program is so popular is because it is practical training. This is not all airy-fairy theory stuff. Although I'm not saying theory is wrong, and I do have a strong basis of theory. But I want you to be able to watch a session, take what I give you, download maybe the additional documents, click on the links I give you, go and investigate further all the tips and tricks I've given you and take it and go and implement it. This is a very, very practical training course. The first 2 sessions, my aim with that is to change the way you think about money and about fundraising. And then in the next session, we start to talk about the legalities and the governance of an NGO. And you might think, oh, well, we're already an NPO registered. But do you really know how it works? Do you know how are you registered as a PPO? And do you know what an Article 18A certificate means? And what is the system that you've got in place for Article 18A certificates? Even more so, are you registered for VAT? I mean, I get such a pain when I say to NGOs, when they ask me, they ask me for an invoice to join, and then I say, well, that's great. Let me know what details you want on the invoice. And if you are VAT registered, please let me have your VAT number. And then the answer comes back saying, we don't have a VAT number because we are an NPO. I mean, hello? No. Just imagine that you could get 15% of all your expenses back if you are VAT registered. Anyway, I can get quite passionate about this topic. I think that everyone in the NGO sector must know more about the legalities and the governance of a welfare organization. So don't skip that program. Then I talk about the 5 building blocks for successful fundraising, that picture that I've showed you a few slides ago. And after that, we're going over to talk about marketing, how to market your organization in order to raise money. And a very important part of that is the use of photographs, images, as well as videos. Photographs and videos are the windows to the soul of your organization. That is how you connect with people. You don't connect through copy. You connect through a photograph and through a video. And in those 2 very important programs, I show you exactly how to take a good photograph or a video, how to edit it, how to use it. And I get you over that age-old excuse to say, we work with children, we can't take photos of our children. That is nonsense, ladies and gentlemen. The rule says you cannot take photographs that can reveal the identity of a child. It doesn't say you can't take a photograph of a child. You cannot reveal the identity. I get a real pain when people put photographs of children and then just scratch out their faces on Facebook. I think it's very, I don't think it's gracious. I think it's harsh. I don't want to see a photograph of a child's face scratched out. I think it's rude. There are other beautiful ways in which you can portray the children that you render a service to without revealing their identity. But okay, don't get carried away with that topic. Videos is so important. The use of videos in social media is vital. When's the last time that you have used a video? Nowadays with smartphones, it's just so easy. You don't have to go to university for 4 years to learn how to take and edit a video. You can do it yourself. Let me teach you how in a practical way that you will be able to do it after watching the videos. I also talk about POPIA. POPIA is alive and well, and our NGOs also need to comply to that. And then there's 3 programs on databases. A database is the heart of your fundraising. If there's one thing that you cannot skip in both the marketing and the fundraising, it's the database. I must tell you, I must work probably every day. Like let's say 5 days out of the 7 days in a week, I work on my databases. And so should you. Another thing that's very important, and this is a big program that is part of this, is how to set up your website. Now, with that website, with that program, I don't intend to create you into a web developer. I'm not teaching you how to code and do HTML and all of those things. I teach you the concept of website. How does cyberspace work? I've seen too often that people come to NGOs who know nothing about cyberspace, and then they talk all sorts of stories to them. And when the other day I spoke to somebody, it was quite a while ago already, probably 3 years ago already, and the NGO told me they paid 60,000 Rand for their website. And it wasn't even, it didn't even have all the bells and whistles. I'm like, how can you pay 60,000 Rand for a website? And it doesn't even, even if it did have all the bells and whistles, you don't pay that kind of money. But it's because the people working at the NGO didn't understand how websites work. They don't know about analytics. They don't know about pixels. They don't know about the technical stuff. You don't have to be able to do the technical stuff. I'm not telling you how it works, but I'm not telling you how to do it, but I'm telling you how it works so that you are knowledgeable. I'm showing you how to set up an online shop in a website. And you can do it yourself. That's no coding. That's really dead easy. So don't let anyone tell you that's difficult. I get so excited about all these topics that I just want to tell you everything. But you know what? Just as you cannot become a doctor in a month. You can't become a mechanic or a chef or a teacher or an engineer in a month or two. And in the same way, you cannot become a fundraiser by listening to a 1-hour webinar or by doing just one program. It really is a very long, intense, new skill set that you need to master. And one of those skills is social media. Social media is a big thing, and because of that, there are 3 sessions just on social media. And you're going to see in one of those sessions that it is possible to raise millions on social media. Because some other NGOs, and I'm going to introduce them to you, they do it. So if they do it, why can't you do it? If it's possible for them, how is it not possible for you? Social media is used by most NGOs in such a wrong way that it doesn't work for them. And I'm going to teach you in that program how it could work for you. Then there's a session on how to set up and run a charity shop successfully. And let me tell you, this is probably the one session that makes me the most excited, to see how other NGOs are raising millions. When I spoke earlier about having a sustainable income, guaranteed, unallocated money, where you can use it where you know it is most needed, one of the ways to do that is by setting up and running a successful charity shop. And in that program, I teach you exactly what to do. I also talk to you about proposals. My goodness, why don't NGOs do more proposals? Maybe you've done 1 or 2 and it didn't work. Well, then if it didn't work, I want to take a wild guess, and I'm probably right, by saying that your donor research was wrong. Because so often, as with social media, NGOs just dump stuff on social media, kind of hope it will reach somebody somewhere. And same with proposals, they just send it out to everyone without doing proper donor research. Well, in this program, I teach you exactly how to do your donor research in order to submit a successful proposal. Then I talk about online fundraising. This is an era where we have to focus more on the electronic side, that terrific technology that I spoke about earlier, to make it easy for people to give via their mobile phones. Well, where's my phone? It's not with me at the moment. In the olden days, when we asked people to donate, we asked them to take out their checkbooks. Nowadays, we ask them to take out their phones. And if you're not set up a system for people to donate to your organization via their mobile phones, well, you're missing out. Testimonials. The entire business community is using testimonials very successfully, and so should you. I think if we tell the world what we do more frequently, there will not be such a negative energy towards welfare organizations. Most often, the only time when you hear about a welfare organization is when it's on carte blanche or on the front page of the newspaper when somebody's done something wrong. But all the good things that happens in our welfare organizations, nobody talks about that. if we want to change the way the world view welfare organizations, we need to show the world what we are doing. And one excellent way of doing that is through testimonials. There's a whole program on electronic newsletters and mass mail, which must be part of your communication system in building relationships. There's also a program on how to do an interview, a radio interview with confidence. One of the things that I do is I am a radio presenter, and every week I have a program that focuses on different kinds of charity issues. So every now and then I would send out a newsletter where I say, would you like to do a radio interview with me? And I'm always surprised. Well, I shouldn't be surprised, but it's happened because it's happened so many times. But I'm always alarmed. That's a better word. I'm always alarmed to see how few people react. And then when I speak to people, it's like, oh no, I don't really like that. I'm a little bit shy, Oh no, I can't go onto the radio. Hey, put your big shoes on. You're not doing this for yourself. You're doing this for the cause that you serve. And in this program, I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that. That will give you confidence to do a radio interview. And then there's a program about events. Now, I'm not a big fan of events, and simply for the fact that most NGOs only use events as fundraising. When you sit around the boardroom table and you're like, oh, wow, we don't have money, we can't survive, what are we going to do? We need to raise money. What is the first thing that everyone always says? Let's do an event. Now, there's nothing wrong with an event, but if you want to do an event, there's certain things certain little blocks that event must tick. And one of the blocks is that the event must raise more than just money through ticket sales. The event must add value long-term to your organization. And I have a strategy for that, which I teach you in that program. Then I talk about ambassadors, volunteers, branding. There's a whole 25 very big topics. Now, some of those topics are available to buy as separate programs. Like the social media, you can buy as a separate program. Or the online fundraising, you can buy as separate programs. Maybe you're sitting here today thinking, oh, you know what, I want to enroll, but actually, just for now, I just want to learn more about charity shops. Well, there is a program where you can buy only the charity shops, or only the databases, or only the social media. Obviously, it costs you a bit more because you buy single programs, and all of those single programs are part of the long 25 list NGO Fundraising Forum programs. There are also other programs on the Online Training Academy that are, some of them are free of charge, and there's a lot of replay videos from previous webinars. And these are both in the fundraising sector, but there's also some personal development stuff, like the one that I did about stop making excuses, and self-care, and setting boundaries, or 5 things you need to know when raising money for an animal welfare organization. So make sure to visit the Online Training Academy. So I know that by now it's like, okay, you've convinced me. Just tell me how I can join and how much does it cost. So I'm going to answer that question to you right now. Let me start by saying that there are 2 ways of enrolling in the NPO Fundraising Forum. And the first one is to enroll as an individual. And you can see on the screen that when you enroll as an individual, there are 2 payment options. You can enroll and you can pay a once-off annual fee, or you can enroll as an individual and pay a monthly subscription fee. If you pay the monthly subscription fee, you have to commit for 12 months. It works out a little bit more expensive. In fact, you pay 2 months extra than what the once-off people pay. You can work it out when you look at the figures. So best thing is to just pay the once-off annual fee. Then it's all sorted. You don't have to worry for the next 12 months. But if you can't afford to pay the whole lump sum now, then you can also do the subscription program. Now, the second way of joining is to join as an office. Sometimes you feel the organizations say, you know what, it's no use, it's only me that go through this process of learning. I want all my colleagues to have this same learning experience, but it works out too expensive to enroll everyone as individuals. So therefore, I've started an office training program. In the office program gives you access to a maximum of 5 people from the same office. Now, those 5 people can also include a board member or 2. Why don't we educate our board members about fundraising? It can include some of your volunteers. So think cleverly, think creatively when you choose the 5 people that you want to become, you want to, enroll as part of your office membership program. Now again, in the office membership, you can see that there is a once-off membership, a once-off payment, and there's also a subscription payment. Now, look at what it will cost you per training session. And I can guarantee you that this is the best value for money that you can possibly get. If you look at what it boils down to, one training session that it costs you. And here's my special gift that I want to give to you. If you enroll before the end of this month, I will throw in a 10% discount on the prices that you see on the screen right now. But that means you need to enroll before the end of this month. Got it? So you can enroll as an individual or as an office. And whether it's an individual or an office, you can pay a once-off fee or you can pay a subscription fee that will go off your account every month. If you pay the once-off amount, you can send me an email and I would happily give you an invoice where you can do an EFT. If you do the subscription way, then you have to go to my website, click on the links there, follow the process, put your credit card details in, and in that way, the subscription will go off automatically every month. You cannot pay via EFT if you go for the monthly payment option. Promise you, it doesn't work. It's got to be automated. But for the once-off, you are most welcome. I mean, you can also go through the system, but you are most welcome to just send me an email and I would be happy to provide you with an invoice. So let me carry on. Let me give you some details. So you're like, okay, how do I join? There's the website address that you can see, anneliesdejager.com. You click on shop. When you click on shop, you're going to see right at the top, you're going to see the 4 different options. Individual monthly, individual annual, office monthly, office annual. Click on the relevant one and voila, you're there. What if people in my office resign or there's a change in staff, in the staff members that I've enrolled in the program? Well, if that happens during the 12 months, you are most welcome to just give me the details of the new person that you would like to enroll. We take the old person out, we put the new person in, and they can carry on. I don't want you to carry any risk. So there's no risk in enrolling as a member of the NPO Fundraising Forum. When will it start? Well, as soon as you enroll, because the programs are already there, they're already waiting for you. You can start today. Who will do the training? The majority of the training will be done by me, but there are certain programs where I've also invited other people from the NGO sector to train you. I'm definitely not the only one with knowledge, and there are people in our NGO sector that's got so many skills and knowledge and experience. Now, I've also brought them to the table to add value to your life. So you're also going to learn from your fellow NGO colleagues. What if you miss a session? Well, you can't really miss a session because the sessions are going to be released every 2 weeks. And if you are swamped or you're out of the country or you can't watch the videos in this session, you just catch it up later. There's no excuse there. How long will the training sessions be available online? You will have access to it for as long as you are a member of the NPO Fundraising Forum, and your initial membership is 12 months. So regardless of what time in the year that you join, 12 months, you will have access to the training. And if you do the training and complete the training successfully, you will get a certificate of recognition at the end of the year. But then obviously, I mean, you have to watch the videos and you have to implement and you have to, actually do the course. I'm not going to just give you a certificate because you enrolled. Will this make me a better fundraiser? A very big, astounding yes. It will make you a much better fundraiser. That I can guarantee you. How can I say that? Well, after you've watched session 4, you're going to say, I now understand all the nitty-gritty technical legalities and governance of an NGO. After session 5, you're going to say to your colleagues, I now know what the 5 essential building blocks for a successful fundraising strategy is. And when somebody comes to our organization that wants to be a fundraiser, I'm going to ask them, what is the most essential strategy, essential elements in fundraising? And I'm going to know if they understand the work. After session 12, you're going to be very proud because you're going to say, I now know what I need to do to put a system in place through which people can donate via their mobile phones. Wouldn't it be great for you to be able to say that with confidence? After session 19, you're going to be so excited. You're going to say that I have seen people raising millions through their charity shops. And if they can do it, so can we. Let's get going. After session 20, you're going to say, I now feel confident in submitting a successful proposal. And I'm going to focus more on doing proposals. I think a big thing that the NPO Fundraising Forum will give you is confidence. So often, fundraisers and people involved in the charity sector are not successful in what they're doing because of a lack of confidence. And in a way, sometimes I can understand it, because if you work in a very, very challenging environment, I want to be there to support you, to help you, to guide you, to motivate you, but most of all, to build your self-confidence. And if I can get that right, you will be successful also in your fundraising. But you might think, you know what? I don't know. What if I don't like it? What if I watch the first session? I've now committed for 25 sessions. I watched this first session and I'm like, I don't actually like this girl giving the training. I don't like watching a video. This is not for me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is a 100% money back guarantee. If you decide after watching the first session, you have got 2 weeks to say to me, listen, this doesn't work for me. Please cancel my subscription. And I will say to you, without asking any questions and without, taking you off my Christmas card list, it's okay. If you don't like it, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. Let's cancel your subscription and I'm happy to give you your money back. I'm doing this because I want to take the risk out of it for you. I want there to be no excuse for you not to join the NPO Fundraising Forum. So my question is, what if you got to lose? What if you got to lose? Nothing. So you might think, well, okay, that's now all good and well, but how do I know this will work? How do you know it will work when you go to the gym? What guarantees will you have that your health will improve, that you will get fit and you'll lose weight if you start exercising? I think the only guarantee is that you can look at other people that's done it. So let me introduce to you a few of my previous students that have done training with me. And let's hear what they had to say. And maybe that will convince you that this will work.
Hello, I'm Kay Ross from the Marion Rose Foundation. If you are wanting to gain practical tips on running almost every aspect of your NPO, I highly recommend the NPO Fundraising Forum by Annelies de Jager. We were given simple and effective tools on how to make whatever you do, from writing proposals, developing databases, and marketing your organization on social media. Annalise encourages you and motivates you to make changes, and almost immediately we were seeing better results in our organization. Thank you, Annalise, for opening my mind and taking me out of my comfort zone.
Good evening. My name is Moira Domine. I'm from a NPO called Women with Vision in East London. We started with Annalise on her training program last year. The training is very effective. We've loved every session that we've had so far, and we've learned so much. She has taught us about fundraising using different methods, including marketing, how we market to different people, the importance of relationship building, database, your email system, and understanding your sponsors as a whole. I would highly recommend the training program that she has. It will be money well invested.
Good day. I'm Elaine Brinkman from Guardians of Hope, Place of Safety in East London. We care for babies that are abandoned, given up for adoption, and abused little ones. So I have attended the training NPO Fundraising with Annalise de Jager, and I can honestly say this is one of the best investments that we have done for our organization. The things that she has taught us were absolute aha moments, things that you just would never have ever thought about. She has made such a huge difference, and I really look forward to taking Guardians of Hope to new heights, new levels, and making lots of money for our organization so that we can continue this incredible work that we are doing for the vulnerable babies in our community. Thank you very much, Annalise.
Did that convince you? Well, you know, the catch is, there's always a catch, that if you enroll in the gym membership, you actually have to do the exercises, get on the training thing in order for it to work. So for you to just join the NPO Fundraising Forum, pay your money and not watch the videos and not implement anything, then I can tell you now it's not going to work. You actually have to do the things. And here's the thing, you can't lose weight and improve your health and have a lean, fit body before you do the exercise. You have to sweat first before you see the results. And it's the same with fundraising. You have to go through the training, you have to implement what I teach you, and then I can guarantee you, you will see the results. But, ladies and gentlemen, I can only teach you if your need to learn is bigger than my desire to teach. I will do everything in my power to motivate you, inspire you, give you the best possible training programs, because I am 100% committed to taking this journey with you. But you need to be even more committed than what I am. Sometimes it feels like I am pulling people through glue. It's like, yeah, they know they need to do it, but you know, there's always lots of excuses because it's not really a priority. I want to say this again because I need you to grasp this concept that I am 100% committed to taking this journey with you. But I can only teach you if your need to learn is bigger than my desire to teach. And therefore I say, please only join if you are committed to learn, to grow, to improve and empower yourself. First of all, yourself. Build up your own skill sets. Become a better version of you. And secondly, join only if you really care about your organization. If you really care about the cause, about the people or the animals that you serve. That is when you need to join. You need to be able to both say, I want to improve myself, I want to be a better version of me, I want to grow my organization, and then I believe you are ready to take this to the next level. I'm ending off our time together, but before I go, I want to say, remember to go to my training platform, annaliesdejager.training. You'll find everything there. You can also enroll in the NPO Fundraising Forum from there. And you can also go to my website, anneliesdejager.com, click on the shop tab, and you will be able to join from there. I want to encourage you to not leave this for next week. Remember, I said if you join before the end of this month, there is a 10% discount only on the once-off payment memberships. Only on the once-off payment memberships. I can't do that on the automated thing. It just gets too complicated. On the once-off payment, you will get 10% discount. I mean, that's a lot of money if you join before the end of the month. Don't just listen to me today. Take action. What are you going to do this month, this year, that's going to be different from last month, from last year? It's a beautiful saying that says, if you do what you've always done, you will have what you've always had. So if you want to change the reality of the organization that you are involved with, then it's time to do something different. I am here and I'd be honored to take that journey with you. I want to end off by saying thank you very much for what you are doing to make the world a better place. Whether it's at a church, a school, an organization working with older people, or an organization helping animals. Whatever the case may be, thank you for what you are doing in saving the world, in helping people, and in making this world a better place for people and animals. May God bless you and the work that you do abundantly. I am looking forward to getting to know you better, and I hope to see you in the first session of the NPO Fundraising Forum. So send me an email right now, and I'd be happy to supply you with an invoice, or just go to the system, click where you need to click, and go through the process to enroll. For me, that's all for today. Thank you very much for being with me. I can see the chat box went wild at some stages. Thank you very much for Adele, who was answering the chat box for us today. And if you've got any more questions, you can always contact me, or if you watch the replay video, you can always contact me at info@annelies.co.za. So from me, that's over and out. And I want to leave you by saying, may you be healthy, may you be happy, and may you get more than you deserve or prayed for in your organization. God bless.